Evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'll just start by quickly sharing my screen. Just let us know in the chat if there's any issues with the shared screen, please. And I'll also put up just a QR code just for everyone to also register themselves in with what football club they're attending from tonight too, just so we can keep track of it too. If you can't access the QR code, or if you're on your phone elsewise, you can pop in the chat what football club you guys are from. It's all good. Won't need anything else. Just really football club, which should be fine. I'll just give it a couple of minutes, obviously, to wait just for anyone else that's joining on. With the session tonight, if you have any questions throughout the session too, feel free to put them in the chat. I've also got a couple of FQ team members online, but I've got Adam Humphreys here from the referee department too, so you'll be able to answer some of your questions through the chat. We'll also open it up to questions at the end, but pretty easy to understand tonight, guys. Just the laws of the game update, just to let you all aware and know about what those law changes are coming into the 2025 season. With only a couple of real changes. It shouldn't take too long tonight. It should be less than 30 minutes easily. We're also going to let you guys know what our expectations of match officials for the season are. Alrighty, so I think I'll jump into it pretty quickly tonight. Just so everyone's aware, there are some videos in this too. So if there is a bit of a lag, apologies for the lag, but there is explanations for the answers, and also some subtitles that can go along with it too to make it easy watching. So I've gone through the agenda of what we're going to cover through tonight already. But with the laws of the game, the 24-25 update, I just got to lay these out just so everyone understands of what laws won't apply to the Football Queensland competitive competitions. Obviously, goal line technology, we don't need to stress too much about that. Goal line technology in itself is quite an expensive system. I would not be expecting to see that anytime soon within the community competitions, but we do advise that our assistant referees get down to that goal line in line with like where the corner flag is, so they're able to make those goal line decisions during a match too. So please be vigilant of that through the season, as well as the number of substitutions. This is just in regards to the concussion protocol. This is still in process with Football Australia. We're currently waiting on a couple of boxes to be ticked off by Football Australia before we can actually start putting it out towards our competition. So this one is still not implemented just yet. If it is, it'll be in the later on down sort of Queensland Cup competitions if your team is to make it later on down the track. But moving on to the updates that will apply to all Football Queensland competitive competitions. So we move to Law 3, which is the players and the team captain. So the explanation here is the additional text that each team must have a captain on the field of play who wears an identifying armband. And the team captain has no special status or privileges, but has a degree of responsibility for the behavior of the team. So when we're talking about an identifying armband, it's either got to be just like we can see here, have the C on it, or just obviously have that captain one there too. But it's got to be identifiable just on the arm there. Law 4 with the player's equipment. With the explanation with the amended text, the compulsory equipment of a player comprises the following separate items, and it speaks about shin guards. And thank goodness they've actually expanded on this in the laws of the game. So these must be made of a suitable material and be of an appropriate size to provide reasonable protection and be covered by the socks. and players are responsible for the size and suitability of their shin guards. So it's not on the match officials, it is on the players. But if you're a football coach, I'd probably be checking shin guards of the players. As a match officials across the state, we obviously that suitable material is really important. If we see any players double folding cardboard and putting that in their socks, we're going to say that's unacceptable. We need to find a good suitable material to use as shin guards during the match. So please be aware of that. And obviously, it touches point on the captain armband there with obviously the word captain or either the letter C in order to identify that they're the captain for that team. The other equipment talks about non-dangerous protective equipment, for example, gloves, headgear, face masks, and knee and arm protectors made of soft, lightweight, padded material is permitted, as are goalkeepers' caps and sports spectacles. And goalkeepers may wear tracksuit bottoms. That's the amended text that is in there. Goalkeepers may wear tracksuit bottoms. Law 12. This is where this is going to get fun. Obviously, we all enjoy handball, and they've decided to put the double jeopardy on the handball as well, adding in non-deliberate and deliberate handball offences inside the penalty area. So the explanation here is non-deliberate handball offences are usually the result of a player attempting to play fairly. So when a penalty kick is awarded for such offences, the same philosophy should apply as for offences or fouls, which are an attempt to play for the ball or a challenge for the ball, i.e. DOGSO offences, denying obvious goal-scoring opportunity. For those that aren't familiar with the acronym, offences result in a yellow card, and stopping a promising attack, or SPAR, offences result in no card. And the deliberate handball remains a red card offence, sending off when a penalty kick is awarded, as it is similar to holding, pulling, pushing, and there's no ability to play the ball there. So with the law 12, fouls and misconduct, with that disciplinary action, caution for unsporting behaviour, non-deliberate handball. There are different circumstances when a player must be cautioned for unsporting behaviour, including if a player handles the ball to interfere with or stop a promising attack, except where the referee awards a penalty for a non-deliberate handball offence, or denies the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and the referee awards a penalty kick for a non-deliberate handball offence. Don't worry, we will have some videos coming up soon to explain some of these. Okay, this one here, we're talking about sending off offences for handballs. A player, substitute or substitute player who commits any of the following offences is sent off for denying the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity by committing a deliberate handball offence, except a goalkeeper within their penalty area, and then denying the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity by committing a non-deliberate handball offence outside their own penalty area. The outside being the key one there is the sending off. So denying a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, deliberate versus non-deliberate. So where a player denies the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity by committing a deliberate handball offence. This one hasn't changed. The player is sent off wherever the offence occurs, except a goalkeeper within their own penalty area. The second one, where a player denies the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity by committing a non-deliberate handball offence, and the referee awards a penalty kick. The offender here is only cautioned. So we have some videos to cover these. Now there is some sound. I'll try and make sure it's not too loud for everyone. But there is some sound, but there's also the obviously
White
text
5
to help.
attempts to block a shot by extending their arm away from their body, taking a risk by making themselves bigger. Previously, a penalty kick and a yellow card were given, as White 5 commits a handball offence that stops a promising attack, shot towards goal. Starting this upcoming season, a penalty kick with no card is awarded, as this is considered a non-deliberate handball, as White 5 does not make an additional movement with their arm towards the ball. White 5.
Okay, so the explanation is, while attempting to block a shot, White 5 takes a risk and makes their body bigger by extending their arm away from their body. And the previous decision would be a penalty kick and a yellow card, as it's a shot towards goal. But the new decision here is going to be a penalty kick and no card. And White 5 does not make an additional movement with their arm towards the ball, and therefore this is a non-deliberate handball offence. Next video.
While attempting to clear the ball, the defender extends their arm away from their body, making themselves bigger and taking a risk. Last season, this handball offence resulted in a penalty kick and a red card for denying an obvious goal. Starting this season, it will be a penalty kick and a yellow card, as the defender's action is deemed non-deliberate as there is no additional movement with their arm towards the ball.
Okay. So like they mentioned, while attempting to clear the ball, the defender extends their arm away from their body, making themselves bigger and taking a risk. And obviously that previous decision would be a penalty kick and a red card for denying an obvious goal. With the new decision, though, being a penalty kick and a yellow card, because the defender doesn't make any additional movement with their arm towards the ball, and therefore this is considered a non-deliberate handball offence. Next video.
From the free kick, White 23 extends their arm away from their body, making an additional movement towards the ball, blocking the shot. This is still considered a deliberate handball offence, resulting in a penalty kick and a yellow card.
Right. So it mentions White 23 extends their arm away from their body, making an additional movement towards the ball to block the shot towards goal. So the previous decision was a penalty kick and yellow card with that stopping of a promising attack towards goal. These are just the considerations that referees put forward. The considerations now have changed. It's still going to be a penalty kick and yellow card, but the considerations here now is it makes an additional movement with their arm towards the ball, making this a deliberate handball offence, and the player must be cautioned for stopping a promising attack. And then the last video.
From the goal line, Blue 9 extends both hands towards the ball, committing a deliberate handball offence, which stops a goal. A penalty kick with a red card remains unchanged. However, the reason from this season is because the defender makes an additional movement with their hands towards the ball.
Yeah, everyone should be familiar with that Luis Suarez denying obvious goal scoring, or obvious goal, sorry. Obviously, that one hasn't changed for the penalty kick and the red card. And as mentioned, it's just the extra bit of information for the considerations there with that deliberate hand movement or the deliberate additional movement for a deliberate handball offence. And the player should be sent off for denying an obvious goal in this situation. Now, we do have a bit of a quiz. I got some 4 extra clips, obviously, for you guys to make your decisions with this here. Obviously, there's going to be it's a 2-part answer to the question. The first part is going to be you decide whether or not it's deliberate versus non-deliberate. So you decide, is it a deliberate handball or non-deliberate handball? And then I want you to think about what sanction is required. Is there going to be a card or no card? And if there is a card, what color, yellow or red? Just pop it in the chat when you guys watch the video, and then we'll be able to go through the answers afterwards too, like we did with the other ones. So I'll jump to video clip number 1.
Caitlin Ford with the early ball. Ibini looked like a handball. And lucks of fortune for Servet Uz.
Well, the crowd agree, Teo, and so do I. I feel I don't even need to see the replay here. Arms up there from Servet Uzela. And that's a penalty every single day. And they've escaped that one, Wanderers.
Well, if we had VAR in the W League, you suspect they'd be at the penalty spot right about now. Instead, they have a...
Okay. I will also play that video again for any of those that
the
got the
early
lag.
ball. Ibini looked like a handball. And lucks of fortune for Servet Uz.
Well, the crowd agree, Teo, and so do I. I feel I don't even need to see the replay here. Arms up there from Servet Uzela. And that's a penalty every single day. And they've escaped that one, Wanderers.
Well, if we had VAR in the W League, you suspect they'd be at the penalty spot right about now. Instead, they have a...
Okay, so remember, deliberate or non-deliberate. And then with that, we want to be thinking about, is there going to be a card or no card? And if so, what color card are we going to be giving? I'll give you 30 seconds on that, and then we'll jump to the answer. Cool. I'll just jump through to the answer. So the decision here, this is a non-deliberate handball offence, and under the new law interpretation, no yellow card is needed, even though it was a shot towards goal. So here, play will be restarted with a penalty kick, and no card is awarded to the is given to the the player there. Go on to video clip 2. This one's a YouTube link, so just bear with it if it ends up lagging a little bit. Let's replay that one. Cool. Let you guys answer in there. I'll give it 20 seconds on that one. Cool. Let's jump through to the answer. That gets me through to the next slide. There we go. So for this decision here, this is a deliberate handball offence, and all the criteria for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity are met, or denying an obvious goal are met. So the penalty kick and red card remain unchanged under the new interpretation of the law. Okay, it's just the extra bit of information with that deliberate movement of the arm towards the ball. So penalty kick and a red card to that player there. Next video. I'll play that one again. Cool. I'll go 20 seconds again on that one. So the decision there, the player has made his body bigger, putting his arm in an unnatural position, and the action here is considered a non-deliberate handball offence. No yellow card is needed, and play will restart with a penalty kick. So this is a penalty kick and no card with a non-deliberate arm movement. Now, I do believe this is the last video. We'll play that one again. Cool, we'll go 20 seconds again. This one should be probably the easiest one out of them. Cool. So the decision here, this is a deliberate handball offence, and all the criteria for denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity or an obvious goal are met. So the penalty kick and red card remain unchanged under the new law interpretations. So yeah, correct. Penalty kick, red card, and it's a deliberate arm movement. Perfect. Moving on, Law 14, the penalty kick procedure. So the explanation here, there is clarification regarding the ball position for a penalty kick, as there can be disputes and or delays, especially when the penalty mark is not a spot. Part of the ball must touch or overhang the center of the penalty mark, and just as the ball must be inside the corner area, including overhanging the corner arc and a corner kick. As with other positional matters, if ground conditions dictate a slight change, this is a decision for the referee. So the amended text here is the ball must be stationary with part of the ball touching or overhanging the center of the penalty mark, and the goalpost, crossbar, net must not be moving. This with the penalty kick too, offences or sanctions, it touches on a just a section to give some clarification around player encroachment. So player encroachment can be difficult to detect and manage, especially at the lower levels of the game, where there may be no neutral assistant referees. However, it can easily be identified by the video assistant referee, and if Law 14 were to be applied strictly, most penalty kicks would be retaken. Since encroachment rarely affects the outcome of the kick, only if the ball rebounds into play, the same principle should apply to the player encroachment as the goalkeeper encroachment. So, i.e., it is penalised only if it has an impact. So the additional text here is, if before the ball is in play, one of the following occurs. A teammate of the player taking the penalty kick is penalised for encroachment only if the encroachment clearly impacted on the goalkeeper, or the encroaching player plays the ball or challenges an opponent for the ball and then scores, attempts to score, or creates a goal-scoring opportunity. And then a teammate of the goalkeeper is penalised for encroachment only if the encroachment clearly impacted on the kicker, or the encroaching player plays the ball or challenges an opponent for the ball, and this prevents the opponent from scoring, attempting to score, or creating a goal-scoring opportunity. So they've got a summary table in the IFAB laws of the game now too. So it makes it a little bit easier for everyone to understand if they had any queries around the penalty kick procedures in regards to encroachment. So they've just made this nice little summary table for referees, match officials, and yourselves as coaches and players to refer to at a later date. So guidelines for temporary dismissals, so sim bins. Just to make this aware to everyone, this is not used in the advanced league competitions. So we're talking about NPL, FQPL 1, FQPL 2, men's and women's. It's not used in those spaces. But all community competitions, it is held. We have the sim bin or the temporary dismissals being used. But Football Australia has adopted System B, and the only cautionable offence for which a player can be temporarily dismissed for is dissent. And any player who is cautioned for dissent will be punished by temporary dismissal period of 10 minutes. All of our matches here in Queensland for competitive community all the way that use temporary dismissals are above 60 minutes in length. Okay, so that is 10 minutes. So guidelines here. To help manage temporary dismissals, a temporary dismissed player can return to the field of play only during a stoppage after the end of the temporary dismissal period. So for this year, not while the ball is in play. So it's not like a rolling stop. It's only when the next stoppage of play occurs. So if 10 minutes has concluded for that player that is sim bin, they must wait until that next stoppage in play. And if that next stoppage of play is 2 minutes later, they're going to have to wait until that next stoppage of play occurs. If a temporary dismissal period is not completed at the end of the first half of extra time, it continues at the start of the second half of extra time. And the temporary dismissal period cannot continue after the end of the second half of extra time, since temporary dismissals don't go towards the penalties or the penalty shootout. So we've also... So System B, which uses temporary dismissal as an additional sanction for the specific offences only, has been simplified so that only that any two cautionable offences in the same match will result in the player being permanently sent off with a second yellow and a red card. So we've got our guidelines. We're looking to get this put out onto the website as well to make it a little bit easier if anyone wanted to print it off and put it around their football clubs, or be able to use this PDF too, just to be able to send out so all their coaches and players understand too. These are the steps, and it also goes through all the informations for why a player would be receiving a yellow card for dissent and receiving the 10 minutes. And it also goes through the match day process of it too. So, for examples, we got dissent by word or action. The next step is the dissent caution. The referee issues a yellow card to the player and directs the player to the sin bin area. Then, whilst in the sin bin, if the player commits any other offence, they are sent off and they cannot be replaced. A player then can only, so if they've been sent off, but if they've only had a yellow card for the sin bin and is still sitting there waiting, a player can only return to the field of play with the referee's permission at the next stoppage in play. And if that player that comes back on receives a second yellow during the match, it means they receive a red card too, a second yellow and a red card. So there's no more of this silly can receive 3 yellows in a game without being sent off. Okay, so it is now a yellow card for dissent and 10 minutes in the sin bin for community competitive competitions. So they're all the laws of the game updates, and I'm just going to touch base very quickly on our expectations of referees for the 2025 season. So Football Queensland, our off-field expectations for our match officials is that they arrive at the venue for their matches 60 minutes prior to kickoff. All match officials must wear the new Kappa referee kit. There will be more information sent out on this soon for anyone who's got match officials that are close to them too, or are match officials as well. Just because we've had a little bit of a delay with the Kappa referee kit. Availability must be updated in Squatty, and we're expecting a minimum 2 weeks out. So updated in Squatty minimum 2 weeks out. And player referees that play at football clubs are required to attend 1 referee coaching or training session a month without it having a negative impact on their team's playing position. And this is to ensure all match officials are upskilled efficiently. All of our coaching sessions are now held online every month. We just had our senior online coaching session last night for the statewide, and we have our junior statewide referee coaching session at the start of the first Monday of every month. So the next one is on the 3rd of March. If you have any player referees within your team in the junior competition side, that is on the 3rd of March. And if you've got any senior ones, they're on the 3rd Monday of the month. Our Football Queensland on-field referee expectations. We've got 4 focuses for our match officials. So firstly, we want correct decisions meeting the correct sanctions. So we want to make sure we have foul and sanction consistency across the state so that the correct decision and sanction are made for matches. Foul and abusive language, that's against players to match officials, and also match officials to players. Last season, we did have to suspend a few match officials for swearing at players and coaches. And they receive the same sanctions as they would if they were players. So it's really important that even if you have a game, it's made aware to us. If we have any match officials swearing or abusing even players, coaches, okay, it's really important that we send that information through to us at Football Queensland. Use our referees at footballqueensland.com.au or fill in the protect the game form as well. That is all a part of that too. It's really important we're on top of that for this season moving forward. Technical area management. So team officials in the technical area, we're talking about how many can be within the technical area. It's really important to note that one team official should be standing up at all times. Everyone else in the technical area should be sitting down. And if we're warming up, we're not warming up on the sideline with a ball. It's just a normal warm up. Okay. The reason why we don't use a ball on the warm up on the side is because it could have an impact and go on the field of play and impact play. And we don't really want to be doing that or causing that. We also have dealing with behavior of technical areas. Okay. So with our match officials, we're empowering them. We have 3 steps that we go through. If a team official within the technical area is being a bit over the top or abusing match officials, we have our 3 steps. We have ask, tell, and remove. The first step for our officials should be asking the team official to settle down. Okay, we can get on with the game. If they're coming back a second time for the same situation, the next step is we are now telling, and that tell is either we're listening or we're receiving a yellow card, a sanction in this situation. And the third time, if it's way too much, especially our young match officials, we're going to ask the team official to be removed from the technical area. So that means they will be given a red card, second yellow and a red card, or a straight red card to remove them from the situation and the technical area. And that bottom one there is time wasting. We want more playing time. It's really important we have more playing time. We have more game time, especially within our junior football space, as there is no injury time in the junior football competitive competition space. It is important that everyone keeps the game flowing. We have, we're not taking our time on throw-ins. We're not taking our time on substitutes. We're not taking our time on goal kicks. We're empowering our match officials to be communicating and making sure that we're able to have that positive playing time. It's really important that we have that across the board. All right, that goes through our laws of the game updates and our referee expectations for this season moving forward. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll be able to answer them. We'll probably stay online for the next 9 minutes or so to go through any questions. But thank you for joining us tonight, and looking forward to seeing you out on the football pitch at some point this season.